Collinwood, in parallel time. And this night a child has had an overwhelming premonition of disaster. But Maggie Evans does not listen, not knowing that Cyrus Longworth, driven by his unrequited passion for her, has changed into John Yeager and has found a prison for her, a prison to keep her in until she loves him.
Hello?
Maggie?
Cyrus, where are you?
I'm in town. I must see you.
Why? What's happened?
I can't tell you, not over the telephone. Will you meet me?
Of course. At the lab?
No. Sabrina's there. I'd rather she didn't know. In fact, I'd appreciate it if no one knew. Even Quentin.
Why?
Maggie, if you come, you must agree to my conditions. You'll understand after I see you.
Cyrus, does this have anything to do with John Yeager? Has he gotten you into any trouble?
Maggie, will you meet me or not?
Of course. Where?
Widow's Hill. Now, I know it sounds strange, but I don't know anywhere else where we won't be seen. Maggie, it's vital I see you. Can you be there at 11?
Cyrus, I don't understand this. Yes.
Don't tell anyone.
It's very difficult.
I will be in danger if you do. Do you want that, Maggie?
No.
I'll see you then.
Maggie, who are you talking to? Maggie, what's wrong? I asked you who you were talking to.
Oh, it was nothing, darling. It was just Sabrina.
Did she say what was wrong with her last night?
No.
She just called to chat?
Darling, what is this inquisition?
Nothing. I'm just very concerned about her. Did she say where Cyrus is?
No.
If I didn't know better, I'd think they were having a fight. But then they never fight. You know, I have the feeling that they need our help.
Perhaps we can help them very soon.
Maggie, you're not telling me all that you know.
I'm sorry, darling. My mind was just on something else. Quentin, the weirdest thing has happened. My silver brush and the mirror are gone.
I'm sure you just misplaced them.
No, Daniel and Julia haven't seen them either.
Well, you'll find them.
I've looked everywhere. I just don't understand it.
Maggie, I hate that phrase. Everyone who mentions it automatically begins to start talking about the supernatural. So you surely don't mean that the resident ghost has taken them.
Quentin, of course not. You make me sound so silly.
I promised Daniel I would help him with his homework. Maggie, look, I'm very glad that you and Daniel have made up a bit.
So am I. That's about the only good thing that's happened lately.
Well, I'm not so glad that you're able to say that.
Well, have you come to see me, Mr. Collins?
No, actually, I came to talk to Quentin.
Oh, and do you plan to tell him that I am Angelique, returned from the dead?
You've already pointed out the danger of that.
I just wondered how carefully you listened.
I always listen to an enemy.
Oh. You are frank, aren't you? I can learn a lot from you. You know, I've been doing a lot of reading lately on a very fascinating subject.
Oh?
Parallel time. Does that phrase mean anything to you?
Should it?
Perhaps. The theory is that there are other bands of time besides our own, and that we live in them also. Also, that there are even places where one can move from one band of time to another.
That hardly seems possible.
Even to you. The East Wing seems to be one of these bands, one of these places where one can move back and forth. I wonder what would happen if one of us was to be standing in that room when it changed.
Well, there's only one way to find out. By staying in that room.
Is that what happened to you when you came from your time, Mr. Collins?
How I wish I could confess to you what you're implying, Miss Stokes. But I am not a visitor from another time.
Barnabas, how pleasant. Am I interrupting something here?
Oh, no. I still have some letters to write. I'll catch on them now. It was nice talking to you again, Mr. Collins. I seem to get to know you better each time we're together. I like that.
As I do.
You, care for a brandy?
No, thank you, Quentin. Quentin, I'm very concerned about what has been happening here.
You're not the only one, Barnabas.
If you were as concerned as I think you should be, you would take Maggie away from here.
That's being a little bit melodramatic, don't you think?
I think not. Now, what had happened here the other night is not to be discounted. Maggie did hear Angelique's voice. I know you doubt that the picture spoke to her.
Barnabas, how did you know that?
Well, she told me. She was very upset. Now, Quentin, there is a spirit here that means to harm your wife.
Yes, a spirit, a vengeful spirit.
You doubt it.
Barnabas, I have the feeling that Maggie herself is responsible for what's happening here.
Quentin.
I haven't told that to anyone. I shouldn't probably tell you. But I would be lying if I didn't admit it. None of these occurrences took place until Maggie got here.
Quentin, you don't believe that.
I don't know what I believe.
Well, then you must decide. And you're wasting your time doubting your wife. Your present wife, at least. Now look around you, that's all I ask. Decide who is good and who is evil.
Are you trying to warn me about someone specifically?
I cannot without having proof. Nor should you accuse Maggie without proof either. Now I must go upstairs and speak to Elizabeth.
Quentin, I just heard you talking to Barnabas, and I'm sure he means me. Oh, Quentin, he's been against me ever since he came here. No, he has, and I don't know why. I've tried to accept him like we all have, someone we know nothing about. But he seems to think that I'm causing all this trouble.
Alexis,
No, Quentin, all I want is for the two of you to be happy. That's all I want. Just the best for you and Maggie.
There, it's going to be all right. We all want the best for each of us.
"10 o'clock. In an hour, Maggie will come to me. Will she like this room? I must make it more comfortable. There must be everything here she wants."
won't have Barnabas upsetting you. If he gives you any more trouble, you let me know.
Quentin, you are kind. Such a kind man.
That's all right.
Quentin.
Oh, Maggie, I was just going out to look for you.
Oh.
Alexis, would you excuse us, please?
Yes, of course. Quentin, I just have an errand in town.
Not before we have a little talk, my dear. Now, just why did you tell Barnabas that you heard Angelique's voice?
Because he was here.
That is no reason.
Well, I thought it was. Elizabeth found me in the room, and I was very upset.
But Elizabeth did not hear the voice.
Elizabeth believed me. She brought me down here. Quentin, you still don't believe that anything happened. You still think it was my imagination.
I just don't think that you ought to confide something to a total stranger.
I wouldn't call Barnabas Collins that.
And even if it did happen, I don't want everybody to know about it.
I think you'd prefer that no one did.
Perhaps.
Perhaps you would wish that I hadn't even told you.
Maggie, I don't want to fight about this again.
Quentin, our fights just go on because no one of them is resolved.
And who's at fault? You keep believing that you find...
And you keep doubting every word that I say.
With reason.
Quentin!
Who are you? No, you don't have to tell me. I know. You're John Yeager. I've been wanting to talk to you, Mr. Yeager. Can the second Mrs. Collins know that you're here? Is it possible that she has a secret life? Oh, what fun.
How do you know who I am?
I collect information. I know about you and Mrs. Collins. She confides in me.
Well, that isn't very wise of her, is it?
No, no. You and I can be friends, John Yeager.
You make your mind up even quicker than I do.
I have the ability to recognize evil.
And deal with it?
I'm not afraid of it. Now, either Mrs. Collins knows that you're here, or you have a plan, and I want to know what it is.
You value your life.
I'm not afraid of dying. Now, tell me your plan, and tell it to me now, before someone else comes in here.
It's no good. I can't reach him. Barnabas, I can't even confide in him anymore. You know, I'm not supposed to talk to you. He doesn't like that.
I'm sorry Quentin should feel that way.
I need help.
I know that. Maggie, there is one person in this house that you must not trust.
Who?
I know what you're going to say before I even tell you her name.
Hoffman? I don't trust her.
No, not Hoffman, although she's somehow involved. Maggie, Alexis is your enemy.
Barnabas,
I know it.
you're wrong.
No, I'm not.
But she's been so nice to me.
That's part of her plan.
Barnabas, she couldn't be responsible for what's been happening. She's as frightened by it as I am.
No, she only pretends to be.
Barnabas, I like you and I respect you very much. But you can't expect me to believe that without some sort of evidence. You don't have any, do you?
None. None that you'd believe.
This is her. Everything she's touched, I must have. Oh, I just want her so much.
And you will have her. All you need is for me to help you to make your plan work perfectly. I can arrange it so that Maggie Collins leaves this house hating Quentin. And I can also arrange it that Quentin will not follow her and look for her.
You want him?
Yes. Now we understand each other. Your plan is a good one. Very good. All it needs is for me to give it the finishing touches.
And here, Miss Stokes, all I thought of you was that you were a very pretty woman.
Oh, I'm more. Much, much more. Now, I'll see that you get out of here safely.
One question, Miss Stokes. Why was it that you came in this room tonight?
Well, I had to borrow something of Maggie's.
Something I needed for both of our purposes. This will do.
Quentin doesn't believe you, Maggie. He doesn't care enough about you to believe you.
Where are you?
Watching you. I am always watching you. Waiting for the time when you decide to leave.
I won't leave! I won't!
Ah, yes, you will.
Stop it! Stop it!
Maggie, who are you talking to? What's going on here?
He hates you, Maggie.
Did you hear that? Did you hear that?
Maggie, what am I supposed to hear?
Her laughter! Surely you hear that?
Whose laughter?
She was in this room!
Who?
Angelique!
Now, Maggie.
Why won't you believe me, Quentin?
Because it isn't true. There's no one here.
Quentin, are you in some sort of conspiracy against me, trying to drive me mad?
How dare you say that?
Because I sometimes think you are. Sometimes I think you are!
Widow's Hill. How perfect.
Maggie,
Barnabas,
is it?
nothing.
what's happened?
Nothing. Really.
Where are you going?
Please, Barnabas.
Let me help you, Maggie.
No.
Maggie!
Cyrus? Cyrus?
Over here, Maggie.
Cyrus? Where are you?
I'm here, Maggie.
To stop her.
I know you did.
She wouldn't listen.
No.
You must find her.
No. She'll come back.
Cyrus?
Did you find everything you want here? Everything's going to be just perfect.
Cyrus! Where is Cyrus?
His name is not
Ah! Let me go! Let me go!
I thought I'd never mind seeing you cry.
Please!
Meg,
Please.
you're going to learn to like this place. You are.
No! No! Oh, let me out! Let me out!